Hey, fellow TV and film fanatics. My name's Greg and I make recommendations for TV shows and movies you can access from the comfort of your own home. And November is another month that is completely stacked with new shows and new seasons hitting the big streaming services. This month is a good mix of some action, adventure, a bunch of comedy, thrillers, drama, sci-fi, so hopefully something for everyone. But as always, stop mindlessly scrolling, stop wasting your time on bad shows, and let's jump in and check out this list.
In 100 years, all that is Saxon will be gone. No one will ever know you or your kind existed.
First up on our list here in November is a fresh take on an iconic story, and this is Robin Hood. The brand new series hits MGM Plus on November 2nd. This unique take on the legendary outlaw looks absolutely incredible. Starring Jack Patton as Rob, who becomes Robin Hood, and Lauren McQueen as his love interest Marion. The show promises a sweeping romantic adventure filled with rebellion, revenge, and heart. It's described as smart, gritty, and deeply emotional, with a focus on both the love story and the fight for justice. The series is set in 12th century England just after the Norman invasion, and we see Rob lose everything at the hands of the corrupt sheriff of Nottingham, and he becomes consumed by grief and anger, and he turns to rebellion, using his skills to strike back against tyranny. Marion is the daughter of a Norman lord who risks everything to fight alongside Rob. While he leads a band of outlaws in Sherwood Forest, she infiltrates the royal court from within, taking on corruption headfirst. Together they wage a dual battle for freedom and justice, one in the shadows and one at the heart of power. And talk about an amazing cast. We obviously have Jack Patton and Lauren McQueen, but also Sean Bean steps into the role of the Sheriff of Nottingham, along with Stephen Waddington and Connie Nielsen. The tone of this series is exactly what fans of epic period dramas will love. It's grounded, modern, and emotional, with that Peaky Blinders edge, gritty action, class warfare, and a fight against corruption. I am definitely excited to check out this bold, modern spin on a classic legend, so if you are looking to see Robin Hood like you've never seen it before...
I have such bad memory. It's something I really struggle with.
Totally. I'm like that way with trees. I don't know what any of them are called.
Next up on our list is an interesting looking new comedy, and this is I Love LA. This one hits HBO Max on Sunday, November 2nd. And from the trailer alone, you can see this one is going to be wild and funny. I Love LA is an 8-episode comedy that blends sharp satire with genuine heart. It's an internet age coming of age story. It's all about ambition, friendship, and the messy pursuit of success in Los Angeles. The show follows Maya, played by Rachel Sennett, a 27-year-old working in the social media industry. She's at that stage in life where everything feels urgent and she's trying to figure out how to make it all work. Her carefully balanced life is thrown into chaos when her former best friend turned influencer suddenly reappears. This sparks a roller coaster of awkward reunions, emotional flashbacks, and ridiculous influencer drama. As Maya tries to hold it all together, her boyfriend Dylan, played by Josh Hutcherson, becomes the voice of reason. At its core, I Love LA is a satire about chasing success in the age of social media. It dives deep into the chaos of trying to make it in a city where your career and your identity are practically the same thing. It looks to poke fun at influencer culture a ton, but beneath all the laughs, it's a story about friendship, change, and how growing up doesn't always mean having it all figured out. And HBO has a pretty good track record creating these types of shows, and this feels like the next evolution of that. But if you love shows that make you laugh and cringe with some solid heart, I Love LA looks to be an interesting title to jump into this November. Up next is a brand new Korean thriller title, The Manipulated. This hits Hulu on November 5th. This 12-episode crime action series kicks off with a massive 4-episode premiere, followed by 2 new episodes each week, and this one looks absolutely intense. The Manipulated tells the story of Tai Jong, who is an ordinary, hardworking man whose life is destroyed when he's suddenly and wrongfully framed for a horrific crime and thrown into prison. While behind bars, he learns the horrifying truth that his downfall wasn't bad luck, it was carefully orchestrated. Every step of his ruin was planned by a mysterious and ruthless mastermind named Johan. Fueled by rage and desperation, he vows to escape, uncover the truth, and take bloody revenge against the man who manipulated his life into pieces. It's a dark, emotional, and high-stakes revenge thriller that promises to keep you glued to the screen. So why should you check this one out? First, the cast. Ji Chang-wook versus Do Kyung-soo is said to be a dream matchup. You've you've got one of the best action stars in K-drama going head-to-head with one of the most beloved idol-turned actors taking on his first pure villain role. Then you have what feels like a quality story, a man's life meticulously destroyed by a puppet master who sculpted his downfall. Then finally you have big action sequences, gritty cinematography, and that signature Korean thriller energy we all have come to love. So if you're into revenge stories, psychological mind games, and powerhouse performances, The Manipulated should probably go on your November watch list.
There is a greater destiny out there for me.
This will show him. And the rest.
Let's move forward and talk about the 4-episode limited series coming to Netflix on the 6th, Death by Lightning. This series brings to life one of the strangest and most tragic stories in American history. Based on the best-selling nonfiction book Destiny of the Republic by Candace Millard, the show tells the unbelievable true story of the assassination of President James A. Garfield, but not as a dry historical account. Instead, it plays out like a psychological thriller filled with obsession, corruption, and madness. Michael Shannon stars as President Garfield, a brilliant yet reluctant leader determined to reform the corruption of the Gilded Age. Opposite him is Matthew Macfadyen, taking a shocking turn as Charles Guiteau, a delusional failed lawyer whose obsession with Garfield spirals into deadly madness. When Guiteau convinces himself that he deserves a diplomatic appointment and is repeatedly rejected, his fixation takes a violent and horrifying turn. What follows is a story that's stranger than fiction. A tale of ambition, insanity, and political chaos that ultimately leads to one of the most tragic deaths in presidential history. And that cast again is incredible. Michael Shannon looks to bring his trademark intensity to the role of Garfield, while Matthew Macfadyen completely transforms into the unhinged assassin. We also get Nick Offerman as Vice President Chester A. Arthur, continuing to show off his dramatic range, and Betty Gilpin, who plays Lucretia Garfield, the strong and emotionally grounded First Lady. Behind the camera, the series comes from the powerhouse creative team of David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, the same duo who gave us Game of Thrones and The Three-Body Problem. That means we can expect the same cinematic scope, political tension, and character depth that made their previous shows massive hits. And at only 4 episodes, this one is perfect for a quick, powerful binge. There's no filler, just a tightly written, suspenseful story brought to life by 2 powerhouse performances. So if you love historical dramas, psychological thrillers, or gripping true stories that feel larger than life, Death by Lightning looks like it will be an amazing addition to your November watch list.
99% of the time when a child goes missing, it's a misunderstanding between parents, grandparents, nannies.
Hi, I'm Marissa. I'm here to pick up my son Milo. There's no Milo here.
Next up in November, we've got a highly anticipated new limited series, All Her Fault, arriving on Peacock on November 6th. This is based on the best-selling psychological thriller by Andrea Mara, and All Her is an 8-episode limited series. The story follows Marissa, who is a devoted mother living what seems like a perfect life in a quiet, upscale Chicago suburb. But that illusion shatters when she goes to pick up her young son Milo from a playdate. The woman not only says she doesn't have her son, and she claims she's never even heard of him. From that moment on, Marissa's world spirals into chaos. The disappearance of her child sets off a desperate search that exposes buried secrets about her marriage, her friends, and her entire community. The series takes that familiar suburban setting and turns it inside out, revealing lies, betrayal, and the terrifying question at its core. Sarah Snook leads the series in her first major live-action TV role since Succession, and this performance looks like a complete transformation. Gone is the cool, calculating power player we knew. Here, Snook becomes a frantic, heartbroken mother driven by fear, guilt, and sheer determination. It's raw, emotional, and a total showcase of her range as an actress. The supporting cast is equally impressive. Dakota Fanning, Jake Lacey, Sophia Lillis, and Michael Pena round out the stellar lineup, with Pena as the detective tasked with piecing together a case that becomes more shocking by the day. What makes All Her Fault stand out is how relatable and terrifying the premise is. Every parent's worst nightmare, a child vanishing, that hook alone creates instant emotional stakes. But it's not just about the crime, it's about the secrets lurking under the surface of an affluent neighborhood that suddenly doesn't seem so perfect. So, if you're ready for a dark, emotional, and deeply addictive mystery, All Her Fault looks to be an intense addition to your November watch list.
Carol, we will figure out what makes you different
Figure it out, why?
so we can fix it. So you can join us.
My 6th pick on our list here today is an intriguing sci-fi drama created by the mastermind behind Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, and this is Pluribus on Apple TV, plus dropping on November 7th. The series stars Rhea Seehorn, who absolutely crushed it as Kim Wexler in Better Call Saul, along with Carolina Widra, Carlos Manuel Vesca, and twin sisters Monet and Monique Lott. The show runs for 9 episodes, with the first 2 dropping on premiere day and new ones arriving each week, and the story follows Carol, a romance historian living in Albuquerque who just might be the most miserable person on earth. But here's the twist. A mysterious virus has swept across the city, turning everyone around her into unnaturally cheerful, aggressively optimistic people. Think of it as an epidemic of happiness where no one can feel pain, sadness, or anger anymore. Everyone is smiling, everyone is content, except Carol. Her misery actually makes her immune, and in a bizarre twist of fate, she becomes humanity's last hope to uncover what's really going on. Now, if that premise alone doesn't hook you, let me tell you, again, this is Vince Gilligan we're talking about. His work is known for slow burn storytelling, deeply layered characters, and incredible cinematography. And this time, instead of meth labs or legal battles, we're getting a surreal existential sci-fi thriller about happiness itself. A couple articles referred to it as the dystopia of joy, a world where forced bliss hides something deeply sinister beneath the surface. And Gilligan wrote the role of Carol specifically for Rhea Seehorn. Her character Carol is darkly funny, flawed, and fascinating, the kind of anti-hero you can't take your eyes off of. And not to mention, Apple TV Plus gave Pluribus a 2-season order before a single episode even aired. That level of confidence tells you everything you need to know about how good this show is going to be. So if you're a fan of Severance, Black Mirror, or anything that blends sci-fi with deep human emotion, Pluribus looks like another outstanding option.
Jemand wie du kann jemand wie uns nichts anhaben.
Now let's change the pace completely for my next pick, which is not a brand new title, but this one is getting a brand new 2nd season, and this is the German romantic drama series Maxton Hall, The World Between Us. This season lands on Prime Video on November 7th, and is certainly one fans have been waiting for since it exploded in popularity around the world and became Prime Video's biggest international launch ever. The story follows Ruby, a brilliant and determined scholarship student at the elite Maxton Hall private school. She's focused on one goal, getting to Oxford, and Ruby wants nothing more than to keep her head down and stay invisible among her wealthy, privileged classmates. But all of that changes when she crosses paths with James Beaufort, the arrogant heir to a massive fortune and the school's golden boy. And their worlds collide when Ruby accidentally uncovers a dangerous secret involving James's twin sister, Lydia. And from that moment on, everything changes. James tries to buy Ruby's silence, but instead sparks fly. What starts as pure animosity turns into undeniable chemistry. It's the very commonly used enemies to lovers story filled with tension, desire, and emotional depth that most fans of this genre are familiar with. One of the best parts of this show was the world building, from grand halls and lavish parties to the quiet, intimate locations shared by Ruby and James. The show leans into that dark academia and luxury aesthetic that feels both exclusive and mysterious. And I know some probably immediately are saying in their head, yuck, another romantic blah show. And yes, this show has its romantic moments, but it's also grounded in genuine character development that makes you care about everyone on screen. And if you're new to the series, now is the perfect time to jump in. Season 1 is an absolute binge if you're in the mood for an emotionally charged and mysterious series.
I have put together the most disciplined teams to ever take the mat. Oh, this is not them.
Now, if you are looking for more laughs, then this next pick is a brand new comedy series that looks like it's going to be an absolute blast, and this is Stumble, that premieres November 7th on NBC with next day streaming on Peacock. Stumble takes us straight into the chaotic, high energy, and utterly ridiculous world of junior college cheerleading. It follows Courtney Potter, played by Jen Lyon, a once celebrated cheer coach whose career completely falls apart after a public scandal. Now, desperate to rebuild her reputation, she takes a job at tiny, no-name Heddleston College, where she's stuck coaching a team of lovable misfits and total underdogs. From there, it's a hilarious mix of chaos, ambition, and spirit fingers. Determined to reclaim her old glory, she pushes her new squad to impossible heights. And along the way, the show gives us the perfect blend of laughs, awkward moments, and surprisingly heartfelt emotion. It's got that mockumentary charm we all love, with awkward interviews, hilarious confessionals, and those cringe-inducing moments that make you laugh and wince at the same time. What really sold me on Stumble, though, is the creative team behind it. It's directed and executive produced by Jeff Blitz, one of the key directors from The Office. which instantly tells me what kind of humor to expect: smart, fast, character-driven comedy with tons of heart. The trailer had me laughing a bunch already, and I know this is going to be silly and nonsensical at times, but it is perfect for those nights you want to kick back and just turn your brain off. So if you love the awkward humor of The Office but wish it came with more glitter, pep rallies, and gravity-defying stunts, Stumble is one to keep your eye on. Let's head to the other side of the world for our next pick, and this is Last Samurai Standing. This is a Japanese Netflix original series that drops on November 13th. This series is part historical samurai drama, part survival thriller. Imagine Shogun meets Squid Game, and it's set during Japan's late 19th century, a time when the age of the samurai is coming to an end, but before that world disappears forever, 292 fallen samurai are called to a mysterious temple in Kyoto. They're promised an unimaginable prize, 100 billion yen, but there's a catch. Only one can claim it. The rules are simple and brutal. Each warrior must defeat their opponents, take their wooden tag as proof of victory, and fight their way across Japan all the way to Tokyo, which sounds to me like a deadly, no-holds-barred battle for survival and redemption. Our main character, Shujiro Saga, joins the fight for a deeply personal reason. He's not chasing money or honor. He's fighting to save his ailing wife and child, and he's not only the star, but also a co-producer and the show's action choreographer. That means every duel, every sword strike, and every brutal showdown is filmed with total authenticity. Okada is famous for doing his own stunts, and early buzz says the fight scenes are some of the most realistic and intense ever seen in Japanese television. No flashy nonsense, just gritty, emotional, perfectly executed samurai combat. The production scale here is massive. Reports say over 1,000 cast and crew worked on the major battle sequences, combining stunning practical effects with cinematic visuals, and this is a limited series with just 6 episodes, all dropping at once. That makes it the perfect weekend binge. You can dive in, experience the entire journey, and come out the other side feeling like you've watched a cinematic event rather than just a show. So, if you love the tension of Squid Game, the historical grit of Shogun, or just want to see some of the most jaw-dropping action sequences, Last Samurai Standing is definitely worth checking out for yourself.
We are, all of us, drawn to monsters. We flirt with death to prove we're truly alive.
Now, if you are in the mood for a psychological thriller, this next title, The Beast in Me, looks like an amazing option. This is a brand new limited series premiering on November 13th. This one has an absolutely powerhouse cast. Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys, 2 Emmy-winning heavyweights, face off in a tense, emotional, and deeply unsettling psychological drama. Danes stars as Aggie, a celebrated author who has vanished from public life after the tragic death of her young son. She's isolated, haunted, and struggling to write again. But her quiet retreat takes a dark turn when a wealthy new neighbor moves in next door, a man named Niall, played by Rhys, who is charismatic, charming, and maybe just a little too perfect. Aggie becomes fascinated by him, then obsessed. She convinces herself that there's something dark hiding behind his polished facade. But as she digs deeper into Niall's past, we start to wonder, is she uncovering a murder, or is she slowly losing her grip on reality? The line between truth and delusion blurs more with every episode, building to a psychological showdown. What I'm intrigued about most with this one is that it's not just a whodunit, it's a slow burn psychological thriller about obsession, grief, and the danger of projecting our own demons onto others. Aggie's investigation of her neighbor is said to become a mirror for her own descent into darkness, and that emotional complexity sets this apart from your typical suburban mystery. And again, this is a limited series, 8 episodes, all dropping at once. That means it's perfect for a full weekend binge. You can dive in, get lost in the tension, and come out the other side with your head spinning from all the twists and turns. So if you love tense, emotional, and brilliantly acted titles, this looks like a perfect pick.
You have to know the rules of the game and bend them. And you really have to know them to break them.
Next up is another returning title, and this is Paramount Plus's Landman Season 2, arriving on November 16th. This is another show created by Taylor Sheridan, and honestly, Landman is exactly what fans love about his universe. It is a gritty world filled with complicated people, and the story mixes explosive action with deep emotional drama. The series dives into the world of the West Texas oil fields, a place where money, greed, and power collide every single day. Billy Bob Thornton stars as Tommy, a man who has climbed his way from the dirt and danger of the oil rigs all the way into the corporate boardroom. After the death of his former boss, Tommy is now vice president of M-Tex Oil, but that promotion comes with a price. He's caught between ruthless new leadership, dangerous cartel interests, and the growing pressure of his own family life. This season, we are getting Demi Moore as Cammie Miller, the widow of John Hamm's character, and she steps into power determined to run the company herself, and she's as fierce and calculating as they come. One of her lines in the trailer says it all. "The only difference between me and my husband is I'm meaner." That tells you everything you need to know, and as if that wasn't enough, the one and only Sam Elliott joins the series as Tommy Norris's estranged father, and you can feel the emotional weight just from that casting alone. Their relationship promises to bring deep, personal drama that connects beautifully to the show's larger themes of legacy and regret. And what makes Landman special is that it's not just about oil, it's about people. Taylor Sheridan has built a reputation for exploring how ambition, loyalty, and greed can twist a person's soul. Season 1 built the world, but Season 2 is said to be where everything explodes. So get ready, because Landman Season 2 is about to take over your Sunday nights, and it is going to be one wild ride.
What do we do?
What we do best. Make terrible choices.
I'm out.
Let's jump into the world of fantasy animation with Prime Video's newest adult animation series, The Mighty Nein. Premiering on November 19th, The Mighty Nein is the newest addition to the ever-growing universe of Critical Role. If you love The Legend of Vox Machina, this one is 100% a must-watch. It's said to be bigger, darker, more emotional, and filled with all the magic, mystery, and chaos fans have been waiting for. The show is based on the second campaign from Critical Role. While the original Vox Machina was wild, funny, and full of crude humor, this one dives deep into the emotional and psychological side of storytelling. It's about fugitives and outcasts, each carrying scars, secrets, and regrets, find themselves pulled together by fate. These aren't clean-cut heroes, they're flawed, complex, and often reluctant to trust anyone, and that makes their bond all the more powerful once it forms. The story unfolds when a powerful relic known as the Beacon falls into dangerous hands. The fate of the entire world hangs in the balance. The Mighty Nein are thrown right into the middle of this conflict, forced to confront not only external enemies, but also the darkness within themselves. It's a tale of redemption, trust, and survival, told through a world rich with danger, deceit, and divine power. And this time the creators have upped the cinematic scale in a huge way. Episodes run close to 45 minutes each, giving room for deep character development, sweeping visuals, and a story that feels epic from the very first scene. The animation once again comes from the same studio that brought Vox Machina to life, so expect jaw-dropping visuals, kinetic fight scenes, and that perfect mix of fantasy and grit that fans absolutely love. So if you're ready for a darker, deeper, more emotionally charged adventure, The Mighty Nein is another awesome addition to Prime Video's top-notch animated library.
What did you think that your mom did for a living?
She told me she was a headhunter.
Up next is The Assassin, hitting AMC Plus in the US on November 20th. This 6-episode series is part high-octane crime thriller, part dark comedy, and part deeply emotional family drama. Think Killing Eve meets The Tourist, which makes perfect sense because it comes from the same Emmy and Golden Globe winning creators Harry and Jack Williams. The story follows Julie, who is a retired assassin living quietly on a remote Greek island, trying to leave her violent past behind. But when her estranged son Edward, played by Freddie Highmore, shows up and everything falls apart. Within hours, Julie's peaceful exile explodes into chaos as killers come knocking, and she's forced to go on the run with the one person she barely knows, her own son. Now, this isn't your typical sleek, stoic spy story. The assassin mixes danger with dry wit, and that's where the magic happens. Keely Hawes brings incredible depth to Julie because yes, she's deadly, but she's also cynical and sharp as ever. While Freddie Highmore delivers perfectly as the anxious, overthinking son who can't quite believe the world his mother used to live in, their chemistry looks like it is going to be hilarious, chaotic, and surprisingly heartfelt. They bicker while dodging bullets, argue over moral choices in the middle of car chases, and somehow still find moments of genuine connection along the way. The tone is sharp and fast-paced, balancing stylish action sequences with snappy British dialogue and that unique mother-son tension. You'll get all the globe-trotting thrills you'd expect from a big-budget spy show, but underneath all the action, this is really about two broken people trying to reconnect while the world tries to kill them. Now, it's worth mentioning critics love The Assassin for its originality and performances with its mix of dark comedy and high-stakes action. So, whether you come for the comedy, the chaos, or the killer performances, The Assassin looks like a title that will keep you hooked.
When I said to lay low, what did that mean to you exactly?
It's very discreet, blended right in.
There's an entire pizza stuck to your back.
Thank God, I'm starving.
Let's talk about even more comedy here with the Netflix original series, A Man on the Inside, that is back for season 2 on November 29th. From the mind of Michael Schur, the creator of The Good Place and Parks and Recreation, this series blends mystery, humor, and emotion, and this time around Charles, played by Ted Danson, is taking on a brand new undercover mission. After solving his first big case in season 1, he's recruited once again by P.I. Julie. His new assignment? Go undercover as a professor at Wheeler College. The college president is being blackmailed, and Charles is brought in to quietly sniff out the culprit. As he dives deeper into this academic mystery, Charles finds himself surrounded by eccentric professors, suspicious students, and alumni with more secrets than degrees. But what really makes this season shine is the personal side of the story. Charles crosses paths with a free-spirited music teacher named Mona, played by Mary Steenburgen, who of course is Ted Danson's real-life wife. So we can assume they will have excellent chemistry. I really enjoyed the tone of this show in the original season. It is a great mix of cozy mystery and heartfelt comedy. It's not about car chases or violence. It's about clever investigation, personal growth, and human connection. Charles might be undercover, but the real story is about rediscovering joy, purpose, and love later in life, and I am excited to see Charles jump into a completely new world this season. Season 1 gave us the quiet charm of a retirement home. Season 2 drops us into the chaos of college life. Hopefully this keeps things fresh and funny with a colorful cast that includes Gary Cole, Jason Mantzoukas, and Max Greenfield, who I am sure will all bring their signature energy to the show. So if heartfelt storytelling, an all-star cast, and a new mystery sound as good to you as it does to me, A Man on the Inside should absolutely be on your watch list this November.
Let's end this, kid.
Found you.
Then last but 100% not least is literally the end of an era. We are getting Stranger Things Season 5 arriving this November, and this is easily one of the biggest television events of the decade. Volume 1 of the final season drops on Netflix on November 26th, right in time for Thanksgiving weekend, with more episodes coming on Christmas Day and the finale landing on New Year's Eve. And that final episode is actually going to premiere in over 300 theaters across the country. This is the moment fans have been waiting years for, and the Duffer Brothers have said that Season 5 blends the heart and character focus of Season 1 with the massive cinematic scope of Season 4. And this time the stakes could not be higher. The Upside Down and the real world have finally merged, and the town of Hawkins has become ground zero. Vecna has vanished, but he's said to be stronger, darker, and more terrifying than ever. The heroes are united with one mission: find Vecna and destroy him before the entire world is consumed. But the road to that final battle is not going to be easy. The US government has locked down Hawkins under a military quarantine, desperate to cover up the disaster, and Eleven is being hunted again, forced back into hiding just as her powers and her courage are needed most. The season is also bringing the story full circle, with Will Byers stepping back into the spotlight. Noah Schnapp has confirmed that Will's emotional journey is the key to this final chapter, and his connection to the Upside Down will finally be explored and resolved. Of course, everyone is back for the end. David Harbour as Hopper, Winona Ryder as Joyce, Finn Wolfhard, Sadie Sink, Gatton Matarazzo, Caleb McLaughlin, Natalia Dyer, Charlie Heaton, Joe Keery, and Maya Hawke. The entire crew you've grown up with over nearly a decade, so if you've ever cheered, cried, or screamed while watching Stranger Things, this is the season you cannot miss. And that's going to do for our list today, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us to the very end. Take a moment to do all the YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe. It really helps us get our recommendations out to others looking for great TV shows and movies to check out from home.